Alright, so today we are doing something a little bit different. As you can see behind me, we are in a very nice place. We're just north of Hangzhou, of about an hour away from Hangzhou, and we're here to test something very special. It's the BYD Tang SUV. Let's go and see what it's like. And this is the new one, released in 2018, and it has almost 600 horsepower. It's a hybrid with two electric motors, one at the front, one at the back, and a 2-litre petrol engine. This car is amazing. So I don't know if you remember, but the last BYD Tang we reviewed was the older version, and it looked very awkward. It had lots of flashy lines and it was just awful. However, I knew that underneath it was very powerful and very fast. And you can tell this is more substance over style. Look at the brakes here, it's got Brembo brakes. Now that's incredible. It's also got these absolutely massive alloys which look amazing, especially with this grey colour car. Sorry, there's a fly buzzing around my head. And they've got the lovely Tang Chinese logo in the centre of the wheel. Everywhere you look on the BYD looks awesome. It's crisp design, LED technology lights, which it says up here, and very clean lines. And I'm loving this colour as well. This is a very well thought out car and finally can compete with the best of them. And the front end of the BYD, super smart again, loving the logo at the front here. Sharp lines, full LED lights, and as it's a Shanghai car and it's a eco car, it has the green number plate. And if we see the back here, again, don't need to bother with pressing it. There you go, straight in. Clean and tidy and very modern. Got this lovely leather velour. I don't think that's standard, but we'll ignore that for now. And very generous boot space in here. Let's just close it. You see the lovely 4.5 litre sticker. Don't know what that's all about. I'll have to check about that because it's only a 2-litre engine, so I'm not sure. Oh, 4.5 means how quick it is to 60. Now that's a nice touch on the back, isn't it? So the one thing which really does let this car down is this: build your dreams. Just take it off. I mean, why would you have hundreds of letters on the back telling the name of the car? It's just a bit odd. And it looks naff, and these often aren't actually lined up very well in my opinion. Just awful really. So here we are sitting in the BYD, and let's turn this on by pressing this little button down here, which is nice and metal. Let me see everything coming on. We can see that. Everything's gearing up. Over here we've got the touchscreen, which is basically an Android tablet. It's got all of the music apps familiar in China. It's got the auto navigation app, which is quite useful. It's a bit hot in here, so let's turn down the temperature a bit. And then down here, the controls. Pardon my water bottle. We have the drive controls, so you select you select reverse by going forwards and drive by going back. And you've got your parking brake. And you've got down here, don't know if you can see that, you've got your EV mode and your hybrid electric mode. So we've been using a combination of both on the trip here. Then you've got your eco dial, sport, off-road, snow, and different conditions there. As you can see, fit and finish of the materials in here is good. This is actually plastic, which is a bit surprising, but this is all leather, and you've got all your fancy controls over here, where your seat controls and your windows, and you've got your lovely view outside. And then if you look up here, the controls for the roof. So it's got a fully open sunroof. Let's have a look at that. Let's just get that round. That's quite nice. Yeah, we like that. And it goes all the way back. And as you can see, there's plenty of space for 5. in total, so 3 at the back, 2 at the front, as per usual. And the air conditioning is coming on now, so that's lovely. So let's take this for a little spin and see what this is all about. And one thing to note, steering wheel, so you've got your controls, you've got the volume control here, which is a small ball which you flick up and down and select. And you can select modes on the screen using that. Same here, so before I was pressing this button here and I was selecting different modes on the screen. So difference between like the hybrid mode and then further down the electric mode. So it's quite easy to use when you're driving, which is good. Right, here we go. Driving in the BYD. I've actually already driven this for about 3 hours this morning, driving to Hangzhou, and I have to say, very impressed with the ride, but I mean, I was to expect that really. So, let's get started. Right, put it into drive. Okay, now we're in drive. Put the air conditioning on. Put the air conditioning on. Sorry, just working this out. Down, down, down. It's so hot. Sitting in the sun all day. Right. Here we go. And off we go. So we're just going to go for a short drive up the mountain. We're currently in hybrid mode, so we're using both the electric motors and the 2-litre petrol engine. And we're going to see what it's like driving up some hills. So, if I remember the way, I think it's up here. Yep, up here. So we actually went for a hike this morning, quite hot and sweaty, about 20 degrees, April 1st, lovely weather. So even though this is a gigantic car with massive wheels, it's such a pleasure to drive. It's so easy. And as you may remember from the last video, which was quite short because I only had a short test drive with a co-driver who wouldn't let me do more than about 20 kilometers an hour, this has, well, back then I saw the potential that the car had. I tapped my foot on the accelerator, I was like, whoa, okay, that is fast. Now I actually have it and I can assure you it is very, very rapid. Not Chantu kind of rapid, but this is a massive beast. It's super, super fast. So we're don't want to go too fast on these roads, as obviously we are, but it just pulls. It's insane. It's like everything's kicking off at once. It's the petrol motor, it's the hybrid motors, it goes bat crazy. Wow. And it kind of has torque steer as well. As soon as I put my foot down, it's like, whoa, steady on there. Now I have to say, the biggest difference between the last model and this has to be the looks. This really looks like it could take on any car, anywhere in the world. Just to let you know, I'm not being paid to make this review. I've actually paid my own money to rent this car from someone to then test it. This is just my own review. Now it is a big car, yeah, it's very wide, but it was so smooth driving down here. There was no drama, no awkwardness, you know, plenty of range in the tank. I think the petrol tank showed about 500k and the electric batteries showed about 80k, which I think is about right for the range. And then we put the beans on and it really kicks you in the back. Wow. Anyway, like I was saying, the biggest difference between the old model and the new model has to be the looks. This just looks stunning. This looks completely different. The last one was kind of like the awkward teenage years, you know, didn't really know what it was meant to be looking like. It had angles and bulges and all sorts of design things going on. This time, it's all been put together and it's so smart. It looks really good. And this is now priced at around 200 to 250,000 RMB, or around about $30,000, I think, which is incredible value for money for the car you get. It's got Brembo brakes. You know, this isn't just a cheap SUV which people are like, oh, it's just cheap and it's going to die in a few years and forget about it because it's not very good. This really is a very good car. Now, as you can see, turning circle is not amazing. It is an SUV, so let's forgive it for that. Reverse. And we're going to reverse. And then back into drive. And off we go. So now we're going down the hill. Okay, off we go. Nice spirited drive down the hill now. I mean, I've driven, what, 14 or 15 Chinese electric cars now. Everything from the cheapest, you know, a few $1,000s, cheap run around for, you know, gets you about 100 kilometers, to the Chantu, which is carbon fiber and ridiculously fast. And I have to say, out of everything that I've driven so far, this is by far the most impressive. This is in terms of both dynamics, comfort, quality, the whole package altogether. Just, it beats everything hands down. This is such a capable car, and for the price, it's incredible value for money. You know, forget the Tesla new SUV. Sorry, we're stuck behind a tricycle in the middle of the road. Off we go. Put the beans on. Oh, that's very fast. Oh my word. Again, it's 600 horsepower for 20 grand. And it's got lovely brakes. I'm sure it's got other lovely things as well, but like I said, this whole package is ready for export, which I think is the plan for BYD, is to export this to other markets. And I would say it's more than ready. This is very capable, and I think people back home will be impressed with this. I mean, there are some negatives, of course. I think it's too big. It's definitely too big for Shanghai. These mountain roads, it's fine. But I think it's still a shame it's a hybrid, really. It should be fully EV, but I think they're planning to bring out a full EV version soon. There you go, around the corner. And one of the letdowns is obviously great package, and then someone's decided to stick "Build Your Dreams" on the back, which is naff. Get rid of it. Just get rid of it. I've been impressed with the fuel economy so far. So if you're in hybrid mode, the electric motor is running most of the time, and then occasionally the petrol motor will kick in, and it's obviously got KERS, so it's recovering energy from when you brake, like now, which does actually help. So, I mean, when we were driving here, we used the petrol motor, or the hybrid mode for the motorway, and then coming into the countryside we used the electric mode just because it's a bit quieter, and obviously, you know, you don't want to stink up everywhere around the corner. These corners are very sharp. Be great for hill climb racing. And up we go again around the corner. And I'm just very impressed. I think more than all of the other cars, which have always had some flaw, and they haven't been quite there. They haven't been quite the full package. They've always had a niggle or something you've got to kind of put up with, you know, like the awkward styling, or lackluster battery, or weird controls or something. But this everything on this is good, and everything on this is ready to be exported overseas. I think most people back home would be more than happy with this car. It's very capable, dynamically, you know, it grips the road very well. It's got massive wheels, so obviously it should do. But it does have low profile tyres. I'm not sure how well this would do off-road, and I'm not going to try that because it's not my car. But I mean, that's not the point of this car anymore. You know, most people are driving SUVs. Most people want some sort of hybrid SUV. So why not the BYD? And I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to badge snobbery, you know. But their automotive division, they've had, I don't know, nearly 10 years to develop hybrid and battery electric drivetrains now. And they know what they're doing. They're not a small startup anymore. Warren Buffett obviously famously invested in the company. These guys know what they're doing. They're the ones who provide most of the electric buses in China, most of the taxi fleet in Shenzhen, which is fully electric. So these guys know what they're doing with battery technology. They know what they're doing with electric motors. They know what they're doing with hybrid drive. So I think it's just a case of winning people over, and it certainly has won me over. And they're not afraid about their Chinese. What are they doing here? They're pulling down electricity wires in the middle of the road. Let's drive past that slowly and go on. And BYD are proud of being Chinese. I love that they're using the Chinese symbol as their logo for the front of the car and the steering wheel on it. They're not afraid to show this Chinese element, which I think a lot of Chinese automakers are a bit afraid of. They don't want to show their Chineseness. A lot of the manufacturers want to ape what the Western companies are doing, but there's no need. And I think at the end of the day, that's what this car is all about. It's showing how amazing these Chinese electric vehicles can be. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've really enjoyed A, driving here, B, driving this incredible machine, and subscribe to my channel. Hopefully I've got more cars coming up soon, and see you soon. Bye.